Hi, I'm Debi Robinson, and I'm a functional bone health expert. And this is a video on how to make this delicious, high protein, nutrient dense, fiber, protein, so many nutrients that are important for bone health and for gut health. So watch this video, download the recipe, share it with a friend. This is one of the most popular recipes I've shared in my community, Stronger Bones Lifestyle, or through my podcast, Stronger Bones Lifestyle Podcast, to those that I work with privately, and everywhere and anywhere that I can share this. It is a lentil gluten-free bread. I'm gonna kick it up a notch today, make it a little sweet, adding some different things. And that's the beauty of this bread. It still contains the fiber, the protein, all the nutrients that support both bone health and gut health, which is so important when you are doing all you can to take control of your bone health naturally. Watch it, learn, and reach out to me. Let me know if you have some really great other ingredients you'd like to add. I'd love to hear from you. Going gluten-free is one of the most important dietary shifts you can make to support your bone health. Gluten contributes to leaky gut in almost all of us. There's also a component of gluten that interrupts bile secretion, which is what we need in order to digest and metabolize fats. And we need vitamin D, vitamin K, especially for bone health. Gluten also takes up a spot on the cell membrane. It mimics thyroid hormone. And thyroid hormone is the master metabolizing hormone. Metabolizing is so necessary for all the cellular functions in our body, include bone building or energy creation or digestion, and all of the critical aspects of what takes place inside of our body. So going gluten-free, at least for 90 days when you first start, it's a part of most, if not all, anti-inflammatory diets. And osteoporosis is a metabolic inflammatory disease. So when we can manage inflammation and support our metabolism, the most important way we could do that is through food. And going gluten-free is my #1 recommendation for at least 90 days. And then you could slowly introduce it back in and see if there is any reactivity. And what's really interesting to me over the years is women who didn't think that they were reactive to gluten, once they go off of it and they stop having joint pain, inflammatory joint pain, and then digestive issues, constipation, all of that starts to clear up when they go off gluten. And then they think, okay, let me try to add this back in, and they add it back in, and they notice what the symptoms really were of their gluten sensitivity, which most of us have. And the reason why most of us have it is because gluten is everywhere. And the gluten of today is not the original gluten. It's been hybridized so that the root system grows more shallow, so that the bushes can grow bigger and have a bigger yield, so it doesn't go as deep to get the nutrients from the soil. We've only been eating gluten for about 100 years in all of the years of evolution of humankind. Also, it is more than likely sprayed with pesticides, and it's toxic. So we're exposing ourselves to toxicity, which is a root cause of bone loss. The other factor of gluten is that it is everywhere. It's in your ketchup, your soy sauce. It's wrapped around cheese. If you buy anything that doesn't clump together, it's because it's been coated in some kind of gluten substance to keep it from sticking together. It's a binder for things, to get things to bind that need to bind. Gluten is the protein in bread that allows for that protein structure to bind. So going gluten-free, at least for 90 days, highly recommend that. If you are looking for natural approaches to bone health and you want to do all you can to slow down, stop, and reverse your bone loss and potentially osteoporosis, depending where you are on the spectrum of bone loss, you can. And food is one of the best places to do that. So going gluten-free is really important when it comes to your bone health. Giving up bread is a really hard thing for a lot of people, and this is a high protein, delicious bread. It's made with red lentils. Amazing that these red lentils will yield this beautiful bread that you'll see soon. What happens when we use lentils, they're so nutritious. We get a lot of nutrition in this bread, 7 grams of protein per slice. And protein is one of the top nutrients we need to eat to support our bone health. We need about 75 plus grams a day of protein. So eating 2 slices of this would be 14 grams. That's getting you on the way there. And then of course you could top it with a tuna fish salad or salmon salad, or in the morning you could have it with eggs. There's a lot of things you could do. You could serve it in little squares with some cream cheese. I like to do dairy-free also because it's inflammatory, the proteins that are in milk. There's a lot of nut-based cream cheese or spreads that you could use for an appetizer or a snack, or even a meal. This bread recipe I share, and it's one of my favorites, and it's really easy to make. This loaf today, I'm actually gonna sweeten it up. I'm gonna add some bananas, really, really ripe, super ripe bananas. See how soft they are, really ripe bananas, and honey and walnuts. And so then I'm gonna make a little bit of a sweet bread, a banana bread, and that's gonna add some more delicious bone building and gut supportive nutrients, which is really important if you are taking control of your bone health. Get all your stuff ready. Makes it a lot easier if you have everything pre-measured and plugged in and ready to go. The first thing we're gonna do is mix all of the wet ingredients in a blender. So this is the lentils, the water, olive oil, apple cider vinegar. We're gonna blend that for 2 minutes. Then it's time to add the eggs. You could actually hear it. You're gonna hear a little bit of cracking and then you don't hear it anymore, so you know you have liquefied the eggs. Put that off to the side and let's do the dry ingredients. Almond flour, tapioca, psyllium husks, ground flax meal, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. We're going to mix in the banana after we do all of the wet ingredients. So I'm gonna use honey. You could use maple syrup, you could use honey, depending on what you'd like. 2 tablespoons. I'm not gonna measure. I'm going to imagine that that is 2 tablespoons of raw local honey. Really ripe bananas mashed well. And then let's mix the bread. You get your lentil mixture, make a little divot in the middle. And then if you're using walnuts, use most of the walnuts, save some for the top of the bread. Then you get your pan. I use parchment paper with a little bit of oil at the bottom to keep it down. And then pour this into your pan. And then top with the walnuts. This will go in the oven for 55 to 65 minutes. You can test it for doneness with a knife to make sure it comes out nice and dry in the center. And here is the bread. Look how squishy. Let's see it. Delicious, look at that. Look at that delicious lentil bread, 7 grams of protein per slice. All right, moment of truth. Gonna put a little bit of butter. I like to use a vegan butter on it. Ready? It's so crazy because it's so soft. Made with red lentils. That is crazy. Really delicious. And the fact that it's nutritious is all the more reason to make this and eat it.